The power of your why, building purpose-driven startups. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm with IdeaPros marketing team, and I have Fred Carey here with me today. Hi, Fred.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back. I'm excited to have you back. And on a topic that obviously you're very passionate about because you've written a book about purpose-driven entrepreneurs and courses and so many things. So I'm excited to cover this topic. Do you want to kick us off, Fred, or do you want?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. Hey, so look, the deal is we all have to start businesses if we want to be on our own, and starting a business that has reason behind it is going to give you a better chance of being successful. It's really as simple as that on the business end of it. But more importantly than that, on the personal side of things, if you're aligning yourself and what you're doing, what you're trying to do for your career and your life with a purpose, then it's going to be easier for you to crawl out of bed in the morning with a smile on your face than it is if you're going to that grungy job that you just don't care about and you're not getting anywhere with, or even your startup that you're not progressing down the line with. If you have your passion and purpose and your why aligned with what it is you're trying to do, the difficult days are going to be a lot easier to tolerate and work your way through, because it's only working through those that you can move forward and be successful. Second point is or third point actually, on the outside of it looking in, companies that lead with their why have better results. They have better customers. They have more loyal customers. Well, I think we're going to be talking about the example of Apple soon, but you can see how loyal people who have inferior Apple products to my Android are so passionate about what they have because they're aligned with that company on a deeper level than just buying products from them.
Oh, good. Yes, very, very good. I have the Simon Sinek why video for you all to see too, kind of why it makes sense from a marketing standpoint as well. Like Fred said, there's many reasons to align your be purpose driven. But I'm going to just let you guys know in the chat. I see you over there. YouTube seems to be working for me, Dr. Clarice. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe refresh. It might start working again. But okay, so I'm going to play the Simon Sinek video right now.
Yeah, this is about 5 minutes, right?
It is. And I can stop it a tad early because I think he goes into a couple things, but it's very fascinating.
Well, let me talk about it ahead of time, because
perfect.
to me, it was one of the most inspirational videos I've ever seen. The very first time I saw it, and it's really the actual whole video is closer to an hour. You might want to afterwards try to find it and grab a glass of wine this evening and sit down and watch the whole thing. And he really does an awesome job working on the Apple side of things that really illustrated for me this whole concept in a very, very powerful way. So 5 minutes of your time, listen to somebody smarter than me, and then you come back to me.
I've read the book too, so the book is amazing as well. So, okay, yeah. Here we go.
I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe, in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Here's the best part. None of what I'm telling you is my opinion. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology, not psychology, biology. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain looking from the top down, what you see is the human brain is actually broken into three major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle. Our newest brain, our Homo sapien brain, our neocortex, corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains, and our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, when we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. You know, sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and your figures and they say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right. Because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal?
Awesome. Yeah.
It is a good one. I love it. It goes over so much.
Yeah. So it's easy to understand. It's very clear. Do you have the link? Can you put that link in the chat? Because I think that link you can lead to the full speech that he's made several times. Again, to me, it's one of the most enlightening things that there is, because getting people to align with you on a nonverbal level is tantamount to having lifelong customers, because people believe in what you do, right? If you are an Apple loyalist and you have their phone and you have their computer, you probably have their watch, and if I told you that tomorrow Apple is releasing their new electric toothbrush for the very first time. They don't have electric toothbrushes. I've used this example before. You know exactly what it would be, because they lead with their why. Everything's different. So because you understand their why, you're going to understand their features ahead of time, because you understand what they're all about here. So we know it came out tomorrow. It has some cool colors, big glass. It would have all sorts of advanced technologies. Am I brushing long enough, hard enough, the right places? Is anything missing? And the second you dropped it, it would break. That we know what they're going to build before they even build it, because we understand them at this deeper level. And so if you can get your why and your purpose and your passion all aligned as the centerpiece of what it is that you're doing, then the people who engage with you are going to be there for a longer period of time, and the cost of advertising and marketing to them goes down, because for every person you get, you get to keep them because they're buying into what it is you're doing, and most importantly, why you're doing it.
You sound like you have a busy place today, Fred.
You have a busy place.
So I want to give you guys a moment to think. All of you who are watching, think about your why right now and share it with us in the chat. And we're going to go over a couple other why statements or mission statements that are using why that we have found that are good examples. But while we're sharing those with you, I'd love to hear your why statements or whatever you feel at this moment is your why. So, Bill, that includes you over there. I see Bill with Goliath Sports Chair and in the chat. And Odin and Jared. So let us know what your why statement is while we go through these. So we have.
It doesn't even have to be like an official why statement. Just like what are the most important things to you? How you find your why, by the way, is basically trying to get down to that moment in time that you decided to do what it is that you're doing. And it was more than, oh, this could be a cool opportunity. It was a problem that you were dealing with. It was an issue that was affecting you somehow in almost all cases. The why that drove you to make that decision to go further than just an idea. That's the place you need to start from. That's the soil you need to fertilize from which your flowers can grow.
I like it. So these are, I'll go ahead and add these. So good. Nike and which, obviously it could be a fitness company, but that's not the vision they want you to buy into. The vision that their belief system is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. It's very different than, I want to clothe sports teams.
Yeah. And I think what's important here is that Nike has managed to have a pedigree and have an affiliation with preeminence in sports. You'll see the Nike logo on Major League Football teams, basketball, soccer. It really is all over the place because they're selling their why is actually what they're doing, right? You're seeing a Nike logo and you're seeing a professional football player score a touchdown, and the association with inspiration, innovation, excellence is all there from that imagery without them directly selling you something. So when you're leading with your why, you're not leading with your feature sets. So it's not Nike's bringing you the most comfortable or the fastest or the durable shoe. It starts with this element and works its way outward.
Okay. There. Microsoft. Now, we already saw Apple. Of course, Apple's big. So I wanted to just show in comparison. This is Microsoft's mission statement: to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more.
And frankly, I don't think that's a great why, but it's good. And speaking of big, I think Microsoft, they're as big or bigger than Apple right now by a couple $100 billion, I think. But here is, I think this is a good example of what maybe not to do. To do it, but maybe not to do it quite like Microsoft. The Apple part of it starts with what they believed, right? We think different. We believe these things about ourselves as an organization, whereas Microsoft's is kind of outward pointing. It's not what we do. It's that we're empowering you guys to do all this stuff. It doesn't really. It is their mission statement, but it doesn't get so much why they exist. So if you were Microsoft, you might want to dust this one off and come up with a better one that right now Microsoft is kind of in the front again after languishing for a while because they spent over $100 billion on AI technology. They were one of the main investors in ChatGPT behind the scenes, right? So unlike what we think about Microsoft, there's still this kind of trailblazing organization that in fact saved Apple from going bankrupt many years ago by Bill Gates giving them $150 million on the bankruptcy court stairs. But theirs could be similarly like Apple, that they believe in challenging the status quo, right? That's the cornerstone of Apple. We believe in challenging the status quo. Microsoft could be, we believe in constantly looking at new technology horizons, or because they do have an eye to the future. That's why they've invested so heavily on the technology that's now become the cornerstone of our digital civilization, and that's because they were a lot more future thinking on it. Google, Apple, way behind Microsoft in pulling this out, but Microsoft doesn't come off as this kind of future thinking organization because they're not really leading with their why. They have their mission statement, which is how they're going to empower you, but they're really not telling you anything about them.
Curious now if they've changed it, since they are doing so much to, they're altering their destination by how much they've invested in AI for sure. So the next one that we have is Starbucks, which I was surprised at this one. So to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time.
Yeah. Again, that's what they claim their whys to be. But again, if you guys can see the difference, the one thing that they're trying to do is they want to inspire, right? But what does it really say about them? And these are the biggest in the world in their relative fields. What are they saying about them? Why do you go to Starbucks and pay $4 for a cup of coffee when there's a cup of coffee 3 times bigger across the street at 7-Eleven for 99 cents? Because they're not providing you anything one cup at a time. And in fact, their mission is to create little neighborhoods. And if they focus on creating their little neighborhoods or creating their little communities, creating events, they create communities, not coffee. So you're not going to Starbucks because of the coffee. In fact, there's nobody that says, "Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee at Starbucks." They say, "Let's go to Starbucks," or "Let's get a Starbucks."
It's a destination. It's
Right.
a destination. It's the experience and the environment for sure. So the whole nurturing or inspiring is more about being in a space that you're going to get inspired in. You're hanging out with people. You're comfortable in that environment.
Yeah. So it's not about one person, one cup. It really is about this little sense of community, where, oh, by the way, while you're there, we just happen to sell coffee. Would you like a cup? Right? Just like taking the Apple mentality and using it that way. Their cup of coffee should be on the outside, what they're selling. The inside should be what they're creating. They're creating a community of like-minded people, the busy professionals, eager students. They're creating a community for people to gather together and do great work. And we just happen to sell coffee.
Exactly. Okay,
Now,
Tessa.
further than selling coffee. Oh, I want to see this.
To accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy.
Felt like 100 years late to the party. That electric cars were invented in 1890. And as it turns out, electrical vehicles are not that sustainable energy-wise. It takes a lot of effort to make them. But again, all of these are kind of outward facing, a lot more than you're knowing when you look at these things. What can you tell me about Tesla's spirit of adventure, risk taking? When Elon Musk took over Tesla, he didn't start Tesla, by the way. His 2 brothers did, and he was their first investor, and then took it over. But when he was first with Tesla and SpaceX, which insanely started both around the same time, the reason that he wanted to do all of this stuff is not really captured in here, right? He really it's not to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. It's his why is more on the sense of challenging the bounds uh, of the possible and the impossible. When he started Tesla, he gave it less than 10% chance of surviving, and it was only by his serious determination, grit, perseverance that it was able to continue. He literally almost bankrupted himself in 2008 with both Tesla and SpaceX. He had $90 million left to his name and put all of it into those two companies, having to sleep on friends' couches for a while until he was able to get some outside funding. But I saw recently something on Instagram from his wife or ex-wife that was talking about how she was terrified he was going to get a heart attack. He was under so much stress, not able to sleep, just working day in and day out. The only way you can do that is if you can align yourself and have your why be really what you're all about. The only way you can put up with the pain, aggravation, setbacks, disappointments, complete meltdowns that entrepreneurship brings to you on a silver plate every single day, guaranteed, is by associating yourself with your why, finding what is the deeper reason behind what it is you're trying to do.
Okay. I got one more for you, Fred, and then I'm going to let you wrap it up.
Hopefully this one isn't stuck. Damn it.
This one does suck a little bit more.
So again, these are the best companies in the world with shitty whys. So I just think, don't just look externally to the benefit others are getting. Look to the inside your heart of what drives you in what you're doing, because that's what people are really going to buy into at another level. And I know, some of you may have some simple consumer product or something, and compared to what Apple is doing, like how do I make a why out of that? But if you look at what Apple's doing, they're selling simple products. They're selling commodities. Cell phones are commodities. They're largely subsidized by the carriers, the cell phone carriers. Computers, they're a commodity. So Apple's selling simple consumer products for the most part, and yet they were able to find some deeper thing. I want our products to be better. I want to lead with this disruptive thinking. I want to be associated with people who are unique, innovative, risk takers. We showed Tessa. We showed before, and we showed on our Pitchcraft that we do a couple times a month. We showed the commercial that Apple put out there that really illustrated strongly what they feel. And only at the very end, the little logo came up at the very end of it. They were not selling computers. They were not selling phones. They were not selling anything other than the imagery, not the words, the imagery of what they were all about. And they had Einstein, Muhammad Ali. They had a lot of different leaders in a lot of different fields in this black and white clip that talked about the kind of disruptors, the crazies in the world, the people who think different, which is really what they're all about, right? And saying at the end that those are the only people that do change the world. And so by that commercial, they spewed their why all over the place. They're empowering the innovators of the world. And that's part of what they do. So when you guys think about your why statement, don't think about just the benefit you're giving to others. Think about why you're giving that benefit to others.
Love it. I love it. And we do have, I'm just going to put Odin's on really. Actually, Odin has 3 of them. So Odin, I don't know which one you want me to put.
I've got one for each personality.
One for each personality. So empower small businesses to achieve their full potential through innovative and effective marketing strategies that drive growth and success. You want me to show you the other 2?
Yeah. But then Odin, think about like why you are doing it too. That should be part of it. Okay. So your why and your mission statement don't necessarily they probably are not the same thing. I'm sure that I'm going to look up Apple's mission statement while we're talking.
I think it is, but it is inside the mission statement. I think the why is built into it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'm going to do look at this one, to unlock hidden potential of small businesses by providing them with tools, knowledge, and support they need to thrive in a competitive market. All right. And one last one, to champion the cause of entrepreneurs by equipping them with the skills and strategies required to dominate in their market and achieve financial independence. They're all good. Odin, I feel like that response, that emotional response, I'm not sure, Fred, if you got the emotional response or that pull on your heartstring as much yet on those ones. So I'd like to see that.
Yeah. So I think we just need to be careful as well to distinguish between a mission statement and a why. Right? A mission statement and a why are not always aligned. In many cases, as you have seen, are not aligned. So a mission statement is more expressing what an organization does and how it will achieve its purpose, while the why statement is your kind of purpose statement. It explains why you exist, why this organization exists. So think of those two. In fact, let me see if I can find something online that explains
a better explanation. I know, Dr. Clarice, I see yours, elevation of standard of healthcare. I see you over there. And then Joshua, it's good to see you. I know we had you do some of our videos. Thank you. Let's see, I'm just going back while Fred's doing that. And of course, Goliath Sports Chair, I saw that you started. I didn't see your statement. He just says thank you for everything, which I'll take it. I like that.
Yeah, he's doing that. There's a real example of perseverance. This is really, really hard, and it takes way, way longer than we think it's going to take. But now he's in a position where he's starting to take orders now, and I think that's awesome. I'm actually
it's a pre-order right now, I believe, but it's so exciting. You guys have to go check out GoliathSportsChair.com because it is a fascinating, amazing chair.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. I mean, listen, there's nothing but benefits if you can find your why. And those benefits are obviously internal. It's going to give you the motivation, perseverance that you're going to need. And not only that, then as you go external to it, you're going to, first external step is your employees, your staff, the people around you, your suppliers, your shareholders, for them to understand that they're going to be better in what their relationship is with you. And then out even further, now you're talking about your customers and everything. They're going to align with you on a deeper level and become more loyal advocates of your brand rather than a fly-by customer. So find your why. It's the most important thing that you can possibly do.
I love it. Well, thank you, Fred. I'm just going to give you guys a couple little announcements. I'll let Fred go, but I do want to say that we have a purpose-driven entrepreneur course. If you're interested in finding out more about that, just message us on this thread, and we can get you more information on that. And we also have the Pitchcraft Live, which is a workshop that Fred does once a month. And sometimes we do more, but right now it is July 11th is the next one. And you definitely want to experience this. You saw how much Fred can tweak live on anything, anyone's pitch. He can really make a big difference in helping you to find how to communicate in pitching.
I have to tell you this. From those courses that are free, it's a workshop that's free, and then there's a paid kind of do-it-yourself course that takes 4 or 5 weeks. And then we have other programs too that people have signed up for to have kind of one-on-one training, strategy, reset your organization, find your why, change up your pitch deck, train you on it, and then bring you up to Silicon Valley to pitch. We've had about 28 companies go up already. Invariably, every time any one of our companies pitches, VCs are saying, it's one of the best pitches I've heard in a long time, because we really approach things differently, because we start with this compassionate personal side of things, which is your why, and that really engages people like venture capitalists that we think are cold, heartless people holding all the money and the keys to our success. There really are passionate people if you give them a passionate story why you're doing what you're doing. And I would say, not only do we get accolades in that sense, but of the 28 companies we brought up there, most of them are actively engaged with different VCs and angels right now regarding funding. And 2 weeks ago, we had the biggest event in California. It was kind of like um, a survivor of pitching. There were 200 companies from around the world that pitched on stage at this event with over 500 investors. One of our companies came in first out of all.
Woohoo!
They came in first unanimously from the 6 judges, and we had 3 other companies up there that they got into the semifinals. So really important. At least come do the free thing, as Tessa said. It's July 11th, and
July 11th, and then if you go to pitch.ideapros.com, it will show the next dates that are available. But you have to show up. This is very much you are working with Fred, you're pitching to other people in the room. So it's not sign up and get a recording thing. This is a work on it and make sure that you're making, strides in your pitching abilities.
Yeah, if you don't feel like you're going to go outside and try to get outside capital, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you are, I wouldn't do it without that. Don't leave home without it, as they say.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Fred. Have a great week, everyone. If you haven't, you can click the bell to get notifications when we go live. There's also a sign up form to get texts, and that way you never miss one of our shows, which they are all different topics for entrepreneurs. Our mission is to help entrepreneurs to obviously grow their businesses and become successful in what they're doing. That's our mission. We want to help 1 million entrepreneurs to be able to grow their businesses. That's really our goal. Whether that is in education with our courses or the different services that we provide, our mission and why has really evolved over time as well. So we need to go update ours. But I'm so glad you guys are all here, and we'll see you all next week. Have a blessed week. Bye, everyone.